Once a football star at Wayne High School, Kamari Hassan decided to stay in Fort Wayne, signing to play defense for the University of St. Francis. Training hard for the 2017 and 18 season, but in a late August practice, weeks before his freshman season was set to begin, everything changed.
My neck snapped back, and it was like a weird feeling, I just felt myself floating.
Kamari was involved in a head-on collision, temporarily paralyzing him from the neck down.
When I hit the ground, I realized I couldn't move, and I was just kind of in shock.
We're tough parents, so we're like, okay, shake it off, breathe, and then he came back, and this time he was there, but his body wasn't coming back.
His mom, Jelani, says she and Kamari's stepfather, Marcus, always thought about how dangerous football can be.
Each time he hurt himself, it was a lot of talking to him and saying, okay, are you sure your body can take this?
I was devastated. We almost lost him. You know what I'm saying? But it's a blessing that he's still here.
But they knew then his football career was over.
I was just telling myself, I'm done playing football because, I'd rather, be able to walk and stuff. So I was, hoping and just praying. I was just sitting there praying, that I'll be able to walk and do everything I was able to do again. If I couldn't play football, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
It was obviously a fast-paced thing, but was there ever a time where the thought crossed your mind that you wouldn't walk again?
I didn't let that come into mind because, right after my surgery, I was able to move my legs, kick my legs. So it was no doubt in my mind I'd be able to walk again. But it was doubt that my arms wouldn't move as much as I wanted to.
After a major spinal surgery, the hard work began, with his mom and stepdad right at his side, cheering him on every step of the way. He started working with a team of therapists at Parkview Health. Using a rare machine called the GO system, one of 8 in the entire country, it's made specifically for neurological patients to help retrain the brain to reestablish function. We began tracking Kamari's progress exactly 1 month from the injury. At that point, he could walk 50 to 80 feet, but it took 3 to 4 people to hold him up and make sure his knees didn't buckle. While on the GO, he walked over 1,500 feet.
Okay, we're going to try to go all you.
His last 50 without computer assistance.
And that wouldn't be possible in a week's period of time with 3 to 4 people helping him because of fatigue, because of effort, because of manpower. The GO robotic ambulation system allows that to happen in shorter increments, higher repetitions to allow those signals to start going back through that spinal cord.
It's tiring. It's like running a marathon.
A lot of work, yes, but through a combination of the GO and Kamari's determination, he's made progress that has even caught his therapists by surprise.
One day, I was very excited, and he thought I was playing. I was like, I'm about to sit up and then stand up by myself. And he thought I was playing. And he turned around, and then I turned myself all the way to the side, put my legs off the bed, and I just sat up. And he was just looking at me like, you're not supposed to be able to do that right now.
He's the kind of patient that every physical therapist kind of dreams of working with because we've seen progress every single day. We're getting muscle activity, better return in the legs, better return in the arms.
Step by step, he's made significant strides. During our second week's visit, he was able to walk down a hall, only needing assistance from 2 people. By our third week's visit, Kamari started raising his arms higher than ever, working on things like writing. Always showing that positive attitude and fun personality, working to the point where he could leave the hospital for a special trip.
Uh-oh, he seen me.
To the USF practice field to greet his coach.
Doing better, aren't you, hon?
Yep.
And then surprising his teammates, giving them some extra inspiration before their next game. Kamari took his first steps back out onto a football field, standing midfield, giving his teammates the inspiration they'd already given him.
They've been very supportive. They come up here and see me every day, especially at the other hospital. I had 10 visitors a day.
Although he'll never play again, Kamari's new lease on life has helped him find a new direction, motivating others.
He was born for this. He was born to show people that you can do it.
But for now, he's focused on the task at hand, getting back to full health. It's not clear if he'll be able to make a complete recovery, but
Go strong, go strong, go strong.
His hard work has his support system thinking positively.
I have no doubt that we're walking out of here. Now, we might still have to do some things, you know, to get his body right and stay with those things, but we're walking.
And like his mom said, he's gonna walk up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a big believer in that.
And if it's up to his work ethic and it's up to his motivation and his family support, I would certainly bet in him.
Cause anybody can like tell you like you gotta do this, you gotta do that, but if I don't want to push myself, then like there's no point of anybody saying anything.
You hear their whistles during the games, and sometimes those cheers from the crowd turn to boos directed at the officials. Some would call it a thankless job, but not Jeff Meeks.
Oh, I love the excitement of being part of the game.
Jeff is in his 19th year as a high school and college referee. He does basketball, football, and volleyball games. He says with all the traveling, it's practically become a full-time job.
It is really fun. I mean, it's hard to describe the camaraderie you have with your fellow officials and the excitement of being out there on the court when people are just yelling and screaming. It's really awesome. I mean, I really enjoy that part of it. So.
Plus, running 3 to 4 miles almost every night surely helps keep him in shape. There's no doubt Jeff loves what he does, but he admits the job is becoming harder due to heckling fans. The IHSAA says that fan treatment is a reason for a shortage of referees across the entire state, so much so that their top brass put out an op-ed telling parents to cool it. The op-ed, written by Commissioner Bobby Cox and the National Federation of State High School Associations Executive Director Carissa Niehoff, was posted to the IHSAA's website earlier this year.
Every year it just seems to get a little tougher.
President of the Northeast Indiana Officials Association, Joe Rudolph, also a longtime ref, agrees with the op-ed. It cites a study claiming adult behavior at sporting events is the reason more than 75% of all high school officials quit.
You know, they're emotionally invested into it. I understand that. It's just that the referees don't need to be the target.
The op-ed states that the lack of licensed high school officials is so severe in some areas it's resulted in the cancellation of some freshman and JV games. Regardless of the shortage, Jeff says he won't be stopping anytime soon.
It's just because I love it that much. I mean, I'm going to go as long as my body will allow me to do it.
I'm Rex Smith reporting, ABC 21 Sports. Back in June of 2017, we introduced you to a Hamilton man who shared an unbreakable bond with his daughter. It was a relationship that, even after Brittany Moser's death, inspires her father to live free and fearless. Phil Moser says he feels that in the darkest of moments, he's found the light. He believes the torch his daughter carried has been passed on to him and his wife, and because of that, they've made some pretty special connections on their journey. One of the toughest things a parent could ever experience is losing a child.
It's definitely the hardest thing in my life.
That's what Phil Moser and his wife Marilyn dealt with in February of 2017 when their daughter Brittany died at 32 after almost 2 years of dealing with Addison's disease. It's a rare condition where the adrenal glands produce an insufficient amount of cortisol. The most common symptom is fatigue. It's a lifelong disease that requires you take steroids, and there is no cure. But Phil says that never changed Brittany's adventurous personality.
She lived life fearlessly. She tackled life fearlessly.
Brittany had asked her dad to accompany her on what they called adventures. They were 20 places on this BuzzFeed article she wanted to see. A bucket list of sorts. It seemed Brittany knew she was facing death. She wrote her parents and sister this note she left on her phone 4 months prior to her passing away, telling them she lived a full life and was happy and at peace.
For her to leave that message was telling us to carry on.
We're gonna do this!
And carry on they did.
That's exactly what I wanted to do, was finish what we had started.
Brittany only made it on 13 adventures, so Phil and Marilyn decided to complete the last 7, plus an additional trip Brittany asked to add to the list several weeks prior to her passing. Along with 11 family members and close friends, including Brittany's older sister Camille, the family made the difficult, almost 10-hour hike to Sky Pond in Colorado.
This is what she wanted, and so we were beyond determined to make sure that what she wanted happened.
So they did it, hiking for hours until they got to their destination.
It's only fitting that she would want us to come here.
And then shared a special moment with Brittany's ashes, which made the trip with them.
She was full of life. She loved people, and she loved adventure, and she liked a little drama too. And she lived in the moment. She enjoyed the moment like nobody I had ever met in my entire life. And for me, that redefined living in the moment.
Like all of their previous trips, Phil documented his adventure to Sky Pond on his Facebook page in an attempt to spread awareness about Addison's disease and the message of living life free and fearless, just as Brittany did. One of the people who followed his posts closely is a Fort Wayne woman who saw our original story air and just had to connect with him on Facebook because she too has Addison's disease.
For Phil to share the story, and then for someone to reach out to us that had Addison's disease, it felt like it was a closeness that we could understand more.
So after a year of Facebook messages, we set it up for Phil and Shelley McGuire to meet in person.
So good to meet you.
It was a moment they were both looking forward to.
So good to meet you.
You also.
Well, thank you.
No idea.
When you turned the corner and you saw Phil, what was that moment like for you?
It was filled with absolute elation.
They shared gifts with each other and then sat down to talk about their relationship and how difficult living with Addison's disease can be.
So on any given day, you wake up not knowing, am I going to be able to do the things I need to do today?
Phil and Marilyn believe their relationship with Shelley is a direct result of striving to be more like Brittany. In order to keep sending that message, Phil is now writing a book detailing Brittany's inspiring life. It's the family's goal for everyone to live free and fearless.
We've inspired a lot of people, and I hope that we continue to do that.
I refuse to be a victim of this disease or what's happened to her. I am moving forward positive. What I received from Brittany far as her inspiration for 32 years, that far outweighs the fact that she was cut short in life.